Hey, Jonathan here. Let's go ahead and create the facade details as we are learning modeling basics in Archicad. Let's do it. Alright, last chapter of this modeling tutorial, let's go ahead and create these details. Let's start by going and setting up the entrance. For this, I suggest we all go down to the ground floor. All right, so now we're gonna go to ground floor. We're going to the 7.1 exercise. Here we wanna do these two very small details of the entrance. The first one is a simple slab. So let's go ahead and start the slab command. Click once, click twice, and we should have it. Before we check this in the 3D, let's also model the little roof, which is basically two lines. For this, I suggest to use the Morph command. For this, I would go with the polyline. Let's go up and then click. We have two lines. And now we'll just basically use as many as the smart tracking helps as I can use. For example, I wait here until it tells me it's 90 degrees and I go, 8 centimeters. I click. Then I go 90 degrees again and make sure that I pick up this point here to take exactly the one intersecting with the wide angle. Then to keep going, it's a good idea to come here and wait for the blue line to pop up. Then I should get the parallel line to it. And as I move forward, the 90 degrees should come back up. I click once and then I close the whole thing by clicking the first point. Then I click on it and click again, waiting for the pet palette, to which I then assign an extrusion value of 2 meters just to start with. Now I move on to the 3D window and make sure that I'm moving on to the 7.1 exercise. So this one is the one we just did. This is the one we prepared for you. So as you can see, we're not that far off. We just need to change the height a little bit. And this means that usually by default, everything has like a weird height. So it's also a good idea to just drag command, click once, and then hold down the shift key to lock it into the Y angle, Z angle, and then you should have it. All right, concerning the little roof, which ended up over here, command drag. Let's bring this all the way back here. This one now we want to rotate it to 90 degrees, command E. Now to rotate in this direction is always a little bit tricky. So you just need to be happy when you manage to get this big circle into the right position. We click once and rotate it into the direction that we need. This case will be like this. And then I can select it, click onto the axis, maybe go all the way to the door as a snap. Once I'm in the door, I'll just take my time to position this correctly. Let's move on sideways, there. Then if you want it to be perfectly centered, maybe we pick it up through that point over there, and then I drop it onto the middle point of the door. Then I push it upwards as much as I think necessary. And then for the width of it, I can just click on this face, wait for the pet palette, and push this back as much as you feel this should be the correct amount. Very good. Let's keep going. Next up is the wood facade. The wood facade consists of two parts. First of all, we're going to do the roof, and then we're going to do the facade itself. The roof command, which is roof tool. Then we look for the one that's closest to the one we want to do, which is a generic roof. Then we make sure that the geometry method is a multi-plane. Then we set the construction method to rotated rectangular, which is right here. Make sure that the structure is set to basic. And that the thickness, now let's look for the thickness. Thickness is set to 0.22. And that the overhang is set to 0.60. Now I can pick up this line over here, click the other side, and then be as thick as it should be. There it is. Now I select it and I can start modifying it. So the first thing I need to do is to change the endings to be all the way to have no side angles. So for that, I select this particular option, stretch horizontal ridge, and move it all the way to the edge until it clicks. The same thing I do with the other side, all the way to the edge until it clicks. Next up is to change the angle, which we're going to set up to be, let's try with 45. Keep customs. That's it. 45 is the correct one. Now let's make sure all this is perfectly centered. Something went wrong on this blue line here. We should offset it. Oh, we select it. Now we click on the blue line, wait for the offset. We offset that line edge all the way to the outside. And now we should have it. Now our example, did we paste it on top? Yes, we did. But depending on what you want to do with this, it might be a good idea to leave some air between it. Now 60 centimeters from all sides. From both sides it's working. Sideways, yes, but the other one it's not. So let's move on to here, where we can extend this to either 0 backwards or 0.60. And the other one as well, 0.6. Excellent. Now, if it doesn't have the same material, all you have to do is click on the one material you would like it to have. Check which one it does, generic structural. Then we click on the one that we need. And we move that to generic structural, which is the ST00. Very well. All right, next up is the wood facade. The wood frames wall is an element of the house that it's used to dim out the sun. And to model this parametrically, we basically hacked a door. So we will show you how we did this step by step. Now keep in mind that this is a complete hack. And I think for the last video, it's a good idea to show you that you can tweak all of these commands from Archicad to do exactly what you need. Let's go to the first floor. Let's turn off the trace reference. Now let's move on to the 7.2 exercise here. And now we are going to start. All right, so first we're going to start a wall that goes all the way to the side. So for that, I'm going to pick up the parameters of the existing wall. And then I'm going to start a wall on this end and go all the way to the other side. Double click to stop the command. As you can see here, we have an extra wall. Now, don't panic. Now we're going to go to the element, to the toolbox, get the door tool. Here we're going to go into the settings dialog. Then to make sure we see everything, we just close Windows. Here we're going to go to look for the element of pocket doors, sliding doors, and then we find the pocket door 22. This one right here. Yes. Then we're going to change its size from 0.90 centimeters wide to 4.99 meters wide. So it's going to be a very long door. Its height, it's going to be 2.5, which is exactly the height of the wall. Got it? So essentially, we're going to be deleting the wall. Then the sill, we need to make sure is minus 20, minus 0.2. All right, these are the frames. Now we're going to keep going to the properties. Let's close the previews. Go to sliding door settings. Inside of the properties here, we want to go to the frame and leaf and change the frame width. Door leaf type, here we're going to change the frames to 0.05, 0.05, and 0.05. Then the grid, we need to pick one that has a grid. So let's take this one here, HV grid. Then we pick the grid that says 0.05, 0.05, and then the pane numbers are going to be vertical, it's going to be just 1, and horizontal are going to be 50. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and preview it. As you can see here, it's looking closer and closer to what we're looking for. Now we're going to click OK, and we are essentially going to add this door, making it going from the middle to the side. For this, we're going to change the anchor point to the left. Then we'll say that this is the outside and that I want to close this in this direction. Now we're going to take the wall and we're going to change its thickness to 0.05. This way, all we should see is only eventually we should only have the door. Then I move on. I want to check what I've been doing up until now. I'm really not sure. Here we go. So as you can see here, we have the new wall with the correct we have the correct opening, right? Now the only problem is the door. So basically we just need to hide this wall somehow, right? Using a couple of tricks. So for example, first up is I would separate it a little bit from the wall. Then I would make the hole bigger, the door bigger, so that this little edge disappears. So actually it's no longer 499, it's a little bit more. And then I take the full door, the wall, and I'll push it downward to 255. And then, as you can see here, I can now pick up the parameters of that door and drop it again on the other side. So let's do that in the ground floor, in the first floor again. So here, for example, I'm going to pick up the door here, and now I'm going to there it is. And here, this door, I can extend it all the way up. And here as well. Now the door is going to be as big as the hole, which is rather crucial here. And then here we move the door all the way to the corner. And on the other end, I do this as well. Okay, so now I should be able to open the door all the way out. This one as well. I go back to the 3D view and then I open it again. So 2 different parameters. Here it's opened. Now this door as well. There it is. And now this guy here. Now we're going to go to the door element and make sure that the frames are turned off. For that, we go to the door settings, frame and leaf. And here we say we want no door frame. And then we click OK. And last is to make all the 2 holes so close together that there is no wall left whatsoever. So for this, I pick up 1 point and mix it with the other. So as you can see, I went step by step so that you see that you can definitely hack every and anything you want to make it do exactly as you please. Parametric modeling should be a help in modeling, meaning that through parameters, you should be able to achieve a quicker geometry. So that's it. Let's move on to the last step, which is creating a section of this to 3D print. All right, so to set this up, I think, you know what, let's start by isolating this. Let's isolate the exercise, F4, and now here, zoom extent. So here, let's start by erasing everything that's on the ground floor, including. Then I am going to start a morph command with a box, as big as I can, cover all of it. Then I am going to draw a section here. Select it, I click on one of the corners. And then I wait for the pet palette and tell it I want to draw on top. And I want to draw as well a box. There it is. So now I have the original construct to start moving it around. And then now we can look for the place where I actually want to, that I actually want to 3D print. All right, so let's look for it. Let's move backwards until the house appears. There it is. We can also push this down. And here you can essentially just tweak this around until you have exactly the space that you want to 3D print, meaning that you're essentially going to be deleting everything that's intersecting the morph and keeping only the part that it's not. So to do that, let's go ahead and select this whole thing, literally doing its last act with me. So here we go. We select this whole thing and then we start from the design, solid element operations. These are the targets. We select the morph, that's the operator. And here we say abstraction. We click on execute, convert to morphs. We say okay. And now we should have a brand new isolated 3D printable model of the facade. Now, any further things you want to do with this, go right ahead. Important for you to know is that now you're ready to 3D print very quickly from all these. Throughout this whole process, we've shown you 7 different ways of generating these STLs. Feel free to mix and match to whatever it is that you're doing at the same moment. So to finish this up properly, Shift Command S to save as. We pick the desktop, we say stereolithography, we click on save, and we want this one to say 1 to 50. Click save. Now we should have it. That's it. Congratulations. I will see you in the next course. Thank you. Goodbye.